Many men in modern day question their masculinity. They feel weaker and less confident than the generations of men before them. If you feel like this, there is no shame in it. The only time it becomes shameful is when you accept it. Nowadays, a man has two choices. He can make himself and embrace masculinity, or allow the world to form him and embrace modernity. If you are among those males that want to make themselves and value your masculinity, here are 10 ways of becoming more masculine. Number 1. You must challenge yourself. Challenge is the whetstone that sharpens the blade of the masculine edge. In fact, challenge is the driving force behind the success of the human race. From building the tallest buildings and creating enormous tech companies to starting wars in an attempt to conquer other nations, challenge continually pushes us forward. Here is a little-known fact. Most of our ancestors are women. That means most of the men at that time did not procreate, which is arguably the main goal of a man's life. If few men procreated then, how many do you think will procreate now? Even less. Men back then understood this instinctively. So what did they do? They upgraded themselves to have a greater chance of passing their genes. They took it upon themselves to incorporate the ability to take action, be effective, influence their own life, and be responsible for their own behaviors. Those were the ones who got laid and had multiple children. If every man who ever lived reproduced, overpopulation would have killed the human species long ago. Luckily, nature has put in protectors for this, called survival of the fittest. A species that does not evolve is wiped off the planet. So unless a man pushes to his limits, whether it is physically or mentally, he will not keep up with his own species. Our society is evolving day by day. You must challenge yourself to keep up with it. Remember, there will always be someone doing what you were too lazy to do. If you do not go to the gym, someone else will. Other people will not stop for you. Number 2. Master your frame. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable of. Sound familiar? It is a famous Socrates quote. Your body is a vehicle of life. Without it, you cannot have the power you desire, or leave the legacy you desire. Physical mastery is a key trait of any truly masculine man. We did not evolve to sit on the couch for hours on end, or spend our days staring into the depth of a screen. Men have evolved to face the obstacles placed in front of us. They have evolved to find solutions to the world's problems, to run, climb, play, fight, and engage with life to the fullest. Every man's life is better when he prioritizes and protects his health. Train your body on a daily basis. Use the fuel your ancestors fought so hard for to become stronger, faster, and more resilient. Build a body that serves you inside of this existence, rather than a body that keeps you trapped with pain, exhaustion, and prescriptions. Number 3. Don't hide from the masculine. Every man has a certain level of testosterone. Regardless of the amount, a man's testosterone levels surge on two things: when he is sexually aroused and when he is challenged. The last one is frowned upon nowadays. But it is true, your testosterone rises when there is a confrontation. It rises to facilitate direct competitive behavior, including aggression. If fighting was not wrong, it would be how men would keep each other sharp, not only physically but also mentally, through psychological warfare. However, it is not applicable in the modern day. Even though it cannot be done today, there are other things that replace it. Instead, hang around with men that will challenge you mentally. Practice a martial art that allows you to spar and learn how to debate your points of view effectively. These 3 covers all that is needed in the skill of confrontation. Number 4. Become a self-reliant man. In traditional societies, men were the primary breadwinners of the home. It was rare to see otherwise. This obviously is not the case no more, But self-reliance is still a heavy part of the male psyche. Modern society may tell men to rely on others for money and to seek validation from other men and women. But this is far from the truth. Do not fall into this trap. You must do the complete opposite. A man that relies on others is weak. A man that is so dependent on others, allowing them to set terms in his life, is not acceptable. The key to stopping this is not to overuse favors. Do not always ask for help, only when you really need it. This way, you will force yourself to find solutions and put an end to any of your problems. In fact, if you want to be respected by the people you love, you must prove to them that you can live without them. Number 5. Stop being so reactive. Picture this. There are two types of men. The first man, when he hears his name, he will turn his head around as fast as he can. When a girl says something to him, he immediately responds in an over-invested tone. When the waiter brings him the menu in a quarter of a second, he fixes his body posture as if he is really not in control of his body. Throughout the day, his face changes into hundreds of facial expressions, as if he is doing face yoga. The list goes on and on. You get the point. In short, he reacts to everything and everyone. His sensors are too sensitive. This makes him look uncomfortable and nervous. He begins to look like a beta male. Whereas the second man does not react to everything he notices, nor does he react to every change in his environment. When he reacts to something, he does it consciously, not nervously. He takes his time, analyzes the situation, and deals with it accordingly. His emotions can't control him, like all those guys who panic when something goes wrong, or when they hear something they don't like. It is clear which one of these men would make it furthest in life. So, do not be a slave to your emotions, and do not be sensitive, because people can smell it from a mile away. Number 6. Speak slower. Have you noticed how in movies, men with high status never stutter or rush to deliver their words? They take all the time needed. They know that they will be listened to, regardless of how much effort they put in. You must know in all areas of life, the person that seems like they are not trying will always beat the one that is. So think about this. What is more impressive? A person that goes out of his way to impress others, or a person that impresses others with little to no effort? The answer is clear. Little to no effort wins. Generally, weak beta males who lack masculinity are used to being interrupted when they speak. So they make sure they deliver their words as fast as possible with as much effort as possible. As a result, they appear nervous. The stress can be felt in their voice. It even leads them to stutter, making them look weak. So make sure you take your time when you speak and deliver your words with a calm and low voice. Number 7. Look people in their eyes. As you start talking to someone, you will instantly feel their presence through their eyes. When a person can't keep a straight target and avoids eye contact, it means they do not believe in what they are saying or are afraid of the impression they're giving. Oppositely, people who can easily hold eye contact will seem fearless, confident, and intimidating. These traits would keep men in place and women in line. How you control your eyes will project 1,000 words to whoever you are talking to. It can either make or break your masculine frame. Not only will this impact what you say, but it will also make you look more powerful and dominant. Number 8. Stand up for yourself. Weak men try their absolute hardest to avoid conflict, even if it means renouncing their values and allowing others to walk all over their honor. The opposite of this is masculine men who aren't afraid to speak their mind when they want, even if it might lead to conflict. You might not necessarily seek conflict, but if it can't be avoided, there is no other way, as you must protect your reputation and self-worth at all costs. So take sides, make enemies, and discard anyone in your way. Number 9. Raise your voice. Have you heard of the phrase, "Speak up, boy"? This needs to be said to many men today. especially to men who struggle to raise their voice in public. For example, many men wouldn't be comfortable asking a question to the faraway cashier, but would prefer to walk up to him and ask softly instead, as if they are ashamed of being heard and want to hide away. Instead, a man should project his voice so that it can be heard. He must be confident in what he has to say, because the way how a man talks will affect how others respond. By talking loud enough, you will appear more powerful than those around you, just like how a king and a leader would have been. Number 10. Dress like a man. Just by one glance at what you are wearing, the world can place you in a category of people. If a man dresses like a boy or girl, he will be treated like one. This means your clothing can make or break the first impression you give, so make sure you dress like a man if you want to be treated like one. It is true that certain men with status can get away with disgusting outfits, but other men must keep it simple and effective. If you found this valuable, show some love. Until next time, brothers.